Good day, everyone. Welcome to the very first episode of Barr Unleashed, a platform where we dissect pressing legal issues, demystifying the law, and engaging in thought-provoking conversations with legal minds. I am your host, Órisánikè Arogundade, and I am thrilled as you join me on this exciting journey. With me on this very first episode is a very wonderful legal mind going by the name of Barrister Ayo Ademiluyi. You're most welcome to the show, Barrister Ayo.
It's a pleasure. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. And it's a great opportunity to be on this platform where we can share legal thoughts and converse generally on developments in law. It's a pleasure, a great pleasure.
So to set the stage, sir, what do you think about this IBB Book Launch that came out some time ago? What are the legal implications? You think?
Thank you so much. By all comparisons, the book by Ibrahim Babangida, Badamasi Babangida, whose acronym is IBB, has received so much uproar in the literary and intellectual space in Nigeria. For some readers, it's an applaudable book. In fact, for those school of thought, which composes largely of his fellow members of the Nigerian ruling class, it was an applaudable publication. They held a very big buffet in which the book was launched and all that. But there's also a critical section of the Nigerian audience, especially those who are victims of alleged crimes of that administration or alleged conduct of that administration, including the family of Delegiwa, all kinds of persons who believe that the histories of their persons were being rewritten or being revised in that book. And so many of them have taken into the media space to challenge the narratives in that book. In fact, some of them have gone to the extent of accusing General Ibrahim Babangida, retired, as committing libel. In some cases, they also said he has committed defamation. We all know that libel itself is a subset. Just for our people back at home, we lawyers, we use a whole lot of terms.
Yes.
So when somebody say, for instance now, that he accuses you of defamation, what that means is that he's saying that you have destroyed, whether what you have said or what you are doing or what you have written, what you are circulating to the entire world, has destroyed his hard-earned reputation. You understand? So now this defamation can be in two forms: written or oral. So we now have a situation where somebody commit that defamation in a written form, either publishing a book or a leaflet or a pamphlet. That is called libel. But if the person commits something orally, call it slander and all that, it's also part of defamation anyway. But slander anyway, you can slander me anyhow. Maybe you see me on the road and say, look at your big head. See your big head. Well, but if it only becomes something you can take to the court when it is slander actionable per se. That is, when it becomes something that affects my livelihood. Maybe you now say, Ayo is a very bad lawyer. That you are already castigating my means of livelihood. So in every way, I can take that oral account to court. But the world is changing.
Exactly.
We no longer have we now have social media, YouTube,
Instagram,
and people now do a lot of what we call cyber defamation. People go online and say in the name of they are trolling the person. They say and then they tag his handle, and then they start trolling that person. That person is not this, and usually it's popular among celebrities. Exactly. They start attacking themselves and all that. So the question we should ask ourselves is, what are the rights and liabilities especially in those exchange of information, vis-a-vis what we are saying in respect of the book of IBB.
IBB.
Now, if you look at either IBB's book, he mentioned some dead people's names. Okay, we need to look at the what do you call it? The context of rights and liabilities in in Nigeria vis-a-vis that IBB's book. If you look at that IBB's book in particular, that book mentioned a lot of dead people's names.
Yes.
So the question that will arise is that, can a dead party still sue for defamation?
Definitely. A dead person
The answer
cannot
is
sue.
that, of course, except the person resurrect like Jesus Christ.
He cannot.
He cannot do. But can next follow-up question is not that, can the next of kin, children or wives
or the
now
family,
or the family who is still surviving, sue on behalf of the dead person? Within Nigerian law, within the available Nigerian legal framework,
yes,
the answer is still no. But even as at that, there is a provision in the criminal defamation law that says that government, that is the prosecutorial authority, which in this case is the Attorney General of the Federation, can bring a charge of criminal defamation against a alleged defamer.
Yes.
So in any material particular, without beating about the bush, it's only the Attorney General of the Federation that can bring a charge against Ibrahim Babangida in this context.
So nobody can.
So nobody can.
Because and now, the families too cannot.
Exactly.
Because
now they can only.
But so sorry, sir. For the fact that I am still also bearing that name, does it not affect me?
Thank you so much. What is now the civil remedy still available?
Available since I'm using the name.
They can the next of kin can sue the Attorney General.
Okay.
To bring and apply for order of mandamus of the court, for the court to mandate the Attorney General to do the needful in respect of defamation and the rest of it So that's that. But the jurisprudence of criminal defamation in Nigeria itself has become a recent curiosity with the case of Federal Republic of Nigeria and Dele Farotimi.
Okay.
In which Dele Farotimi is an author. He authored a book which the Nigerian criminal justice system, in which he lampooned heavily and outlandishly the Nigeria's judiciary. He even mentioned some key figures in Nigerian judiciary, including even sitting and past justices of the Supreme Court. Now, in the saga of Dele Farotimi, in his own case, he was picked up in Jestapo style here in Lagos, taken through the rocky roads of Ekiti, and then, of course, arraigned before a lonely magistrate in Ado Ekiti there, who just clamped him in prison. Of course, the charge with which was brought before the magistrate court is a criminal defamation charge, which is only subsisting in the Ekiti state.
Oh, really?
Some states like Lagos don't have that kind of criminal defamation charge.
Okay.
But even as at that criminal defamation charge is only in respect of you circulating that book or publication in Ekiti state.
Okay.
So the question is that, did Mr. Farotimi publish that book only for the purposes of Ekiti state? The answer is no. So, but in any way, the framers of that charge know very well that charge cannot succeed. Even if it succeeds before the magistrate, it cannot succeed under a very rigorous appellate adjudication, either at the High Court or at the Court of Appeal. Okay. So they decided to go and arraign him again at the Federal High Court, Ado Ekiti Judicial Division. And then there is no law within the Federal Criminal Law of Nigeria that is that you can say someone defamation in terms of a publication.
Publication.
Like as we are talking about the IBB's
IBB
book,
book, yes.
you cannot say IBB now is not being prosecuted for writing a book. You can only say IBB can only be prosecuted for defaming those persons. So in the case of RTV, they are also handicapped. So what they have to do is to invoke a section of the Cyber Crimes Act, and then they prefer the charge against him under a section of that law that talks about pornography.
Okay.
So in which he was even saying he was making a reference to the book in his YouTube page. So now that section, and is announcing your book for sale on YouTube the same thing as pornography? The answer is no. Was he circulating nude pictures of himself?
No.
Or nude videos of himself with his girlfriends? The answer is no. So they were handicapped again. They have to amend that one to say it was inciting public order. But it was public disorder. So what that means is not that how can they prove that each syllable or each alphabet in that book has led to possibly disturbances in Ekiti State?
Anywhere.
A lot of even anywhere in Ekiti State.
Okay.
There have not been any disturbance. Nobody has even. So if you even ask those people eating pandayam under one iroko tree, whether they even know
about the book,
they will just shake their head and answer you in Ekiti dialect. So that charge also cannot succeed. So, and that's how those charges were eventually withdrawn. So as it is today in Nigeria, given that IBB's book, the only juristic personality that can bring a charge against IBB today in respect of those dead persons is the Attorney General of the Federation.
The Attorney General. So their
it's now left for him to do it. As we speak today, that has not happened because, of course, you know that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu was also there live and direct to be part of the launching of the book.
Which we also. Anyways, this has really been very wonderful and informative. We hope you've been able to learn one or two things from today's episode. Don't forget to follow, like, and share on our YouTube channel. See you again on the next episode. Stay informed, stay empowered. I am Órisánikè Arogundade, signing out.